Algebra 1 section 8.2 we're dealing with zero and negative exponents. So in the prior sections you had 3 rules. If you remember those rules, just as a review, if you have 2 exponents being multiplied together with the same base, then you add the exponents. The second rule is if you have a power to a power, you multiply the powers and apply it to the base. And then if you have a power outside of parentheses, you can distribute the power within the parentheses. So, this section is pretty simple. It kind of feeds off of that, but there's 2 rules. The first rule is 0. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. Okay? So a to the power of 0 would be 1. 3 to the power of 0 would be 1. 4 to the power of 0 would be 1. Everything to the power of 0 is 1. Okay? That's pretty straightforward. The next one is when you have a negative exponent. Okay? That means the exponent itself is a negative, and when that happens, basically what that's telling you is that it's a fraction. That negative means that it actually belongs on the on the denominator of 1. And then as you can see, once I put it where it belongs, the n is now positive. Okay? So for example, remember when we were dealing with a negative in front of the base is different from the negative in front of the exponent. So what I have here is I have 1 over negative 9 squared. Okay? So now because I put it in the bottom, right, the squared is no longer negative. It's positive. And then I just solve from there. So 1, and I take the 2, this is from the last section, and I distribute it to the negative 1, so negative 1 squared and 9 squared. Well, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, and so you end up with 1 over 81. Okay? This is the same thing. Now this is on the bottom of the equation. What do you do? Well, it's the same concept. The negative just tells you it's on the wrong side of the fraction. So if this is a negative on the bottom, so that means if I bring it to the negative on top, right, over 1, okay, this becomes positive. So 2 to the power of 3, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So I end up with 8 over 1, which is the same thing as saying 8. Alright? And finally I have a negative 2 to negative 1. Now first I'm going to apply the second rule of the last section, which is a power to a power. I multiply them together. So I end up with negative 3 to the power of negative 2 times negative 1, which is positive 2. Okay? So positive 2, then to the negative, so negative 1 squared and 3 squared. One more time, how I got positive 2 is I took these and I multiplied them together. Okay, negative 2, negative 1 times negative 2 gives me a positive 2 because 2 negatives cancel out. Okay, negative 1 squared is positive 1 times 3 squared, which is 9. 1 times 9 is 9. Alright? So, go ahead and try this. Page 452, numbers 4, 6, and 10. Page 452, numbers 4, 6, and 10. And I will see you in class.